Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. It is deceiving that we have the Golden Gate Bridge behind us, but we are actually currently in the capital of India, which is Delhi, and I am welcoming to the show Dr. Himanshu Puri. Welcome to the show, Himanshu.
Thank you so much, B, for inviting me for this lovely conversation. Looking really forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Lots of great things to discuss. We've already had a little bit of a chit chat pre, but you're the co-founder and COO of LegitQuest, which was founded in 2017, and it's an Indian legal tech company that's building an AI platform for legal research, case management, and legal due diligence. And I'm really fascinated about this because AI has really innovated the legal sector, if you like, but then there's been headwaves also recently around the kind of revert back to the need for human potential and everything else in that. So I'm really fascinated to talk to you about what
Yeah,
your business is doing from the innovation, but also why the human element is still so required in legal. And it's
yeah,
your company is powered by what you describe as India's largest litigation database. So LegitQuest's stack includes, and go with me here because like I'm no techie, but I'm I'm up with it. But your stack includes an AI research engine, the Libel LIBIL due diligence suite, and Zane ZAN, a generative legal assistant trained on tens of millions of legal records. The company has announced partnerships and funding across the Indian legal ecosystem. When you booked in for the pod, you've also, when I asked you what's one unique insight in life, leadership, and or business, you just basically put product innovation. I was like, amazing. We're going to talk a lot about product innovation, and so
sure.
I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us about your journey into entrepreneurship, your business, why product innovation. Let's go.
Yeah, sure. So maybe before even be moving on to talking more about Legit Quest, how the product innovation happened here, maybe you just mentioned like, you would be interested, your audience would be interested to know about the journey, how,
Love
this
to. Yes,
entrepreneurial plunge
love
took
to.
up.
Yeah,
So very honestly, I used to work in the hardcore education space.
really.
I was a professor.
That's where the doctor, is that where the doctor came from?
Yes,
'Cause I was going to ask you
yeah.
that. Yeah, cool. Yep.
Exactly. So I've done my PhD in area of finance. So I used to be a professor in my early days when I started my career. And somehow I thought, this startup technology, it sort of used to pinch me that, I need to look into this aspect as well. And that's how I moved from education to edtech. So that was my first transition from a journey perspective. And to be very honest, be in 2015, I'm talking about this technology into education space started coming in India, though it was very in early stages, like it was 2010, 12, but 15 somewhere, 2015, it was a great buzzword around tech, especially in India. And that's where I thought, why not to get into learning more about startups, learning more about this technology, getting immersed into a lot many spaces. And I coming from the education space, so edtech was a natural transition. I hope you could understand, right? So I started working with upgrad.com. Today it's a unicorn. It's a
Oh, really?
2.25. Yeah, it's a unicorn today. I was in their founding team very early on. Joined. I was the seventh guy working with the founders. Very closely with the founders, heading their content. So it was about the courses for the working professionals. So Upgrad was, pioneer in that, and it is still a pioneer in that. So it's one of the
Wow.
biggest edtech company in India right now,
Wow.
right? Even planning to acquire other big players and maybe going for IPO in next 1 or 2 years for sure. So that's how I got into entrepreneurship. Though I was not an entrepreneur that time, but I started learning entrepreneurship by working with the co-founders there, right? With very closely, so Ronnie Screwvala was one of the co-founder, very, serial entrepreneur in India. So direct learning coming from such serial entrepreneur was the first igniting point, I would say, that, sort of bit me in 2015. So I was with them in 2015, 16, 17. So I saw from, 5, 6 people organization to, 300, 400. And
Wow.
then I actually left them because then we actually started this legit quest that you were introducing to the
Can I
whole of
pause?
audience.
Can I pause there
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a second? What did you learn being in a startup like that in terms of like what did you observe that you took with you when you were heading into your own startup in terms of
Right.
because you would have seen what you would do, but what you also wouldn't do, right? Like in terms
Yeah,
of how you lead, how like what were your kind of main things
yeah,
that you observed during that period?
yeah. You're absolutely right, B, because until unless, you have your learning with you, I think you will make a lot of mistakes when you start your own entrepreneurial journey. And I think that was a benefiting point for me because I had seen that journey very closely. Being an employee, a kind of very early team, employee with a startup, a young age startup. So I knew like how we need to, sort of more focused towards problem solving when it comes to startups. They have to focus on solving. They have to see the solution from a customer standpoint.
Yeah,
How you're solving it, what you're delivering as a value proposition to the customer is the most important aspect.
yeah,
Because until unless, see, products are there all across us, right? All around us, we daily consume a lot of products and services, but how from a product from a founder gonna be distinguished depends upon how innovatively he or she is solving the problem. And
yeah,
that's where product innovation came. And even I started, sort of thinking about why these courses are different, right? Because there was a value proposition in that kind of a product. The
yeah,
product for upgrade was, obviously the online courses, right? So the distinguishing element was till now in education, we've been always talking about theoretical concepts, all. But when we started with first course, which was on entrepreneurship itself, the real learning came from all the founders. We shot all the founders, what mistakes they did, what good things they did, and then giving it to the early stage founders, how they can learn from those experiences. So
yeah,
that was a
100%.
distinguishing element. That was the product innovation when it came to online courses, right? In 2015, I'm talking about. So that's how, these kind of learnings were with me. Even I was, obviously astonished to see the kind of culture we need to create in the startups, right? And that is what I actually brought to the table when I started in 2000, sort of 17 with my another co-founder, right? So it was legal tech. So my background, like I just mentioned, so I'm like in a area of management. So I'm MBA, MCom. So I come from a management background, but got into legal tech because one of my another co-founder has been from a legal domain, right? So
Okay.
and it was very fortunate that we connected back again. He was doing his LLM from UPenn, and he connected with me after good long years. We used to know each other very well from very long. And I was in Mumbai. Upgrad was in Mumbai, though today I'm in Delhi, which is the capital of India. But I was working from Mumbai, and we connected back. And he knew that I'm working in a startup, so probably we can get along together. He had a legal tech idea in his mind, and that's how we collaborated. And sort of in 2017, we thought, okay, let's go ahead and sort of try doing something, because this space is again one of the most difficult space be I would say
What do you
because
mean in entrepreneur or do you mean in the legal space?
the legal space. Now I'm just moving from
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
No, no, no. Because
legal
I'm like,
legal tech. So because India, right? It's one of the biggest country in our globe, right? And when I talk about couple of challenges, let me throw a number. It's like some maybe 5 million pending cases that we have in judiciary.
whoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's humongous. So in 5 crore cases which are pending in India, there is a huge backlog on judiciary. This is the space which needs technology intervention. We were very convinced with this aspect. Though I'm a non-legal, I come from a non-legal background, like I just mentioned, right? So in very early days, I used to, see this space like, it's going to be really difficult because I don't understand this legal
Yeah.
aspect. What are these case laws, judgments, Supreme Court, High Court, So I was not into it, but somehow when I saw, did our primary, sort of research into this space, though my co-founder was having that domain knowledge, but as another co-founder, you need to get into the, space very well. And I figured out, like, dude, it's one of the most difficult space. Though when it is difficult, it has a lot of opportunity also.
Yeah,
And
there
in
always is. The more complexity, the more opportunity, if you ask
more
me.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's how we sort of took a plunge. Okay, let's go ahead, do something. This space really requires some innovation, and technology was day in, day out growing. Right. So that's where we thought, let's do something, get to a product which can be value, which can be great, which can be of great value to the audience. And then that's how we sort of, 2017 we though started, but it was a complete beta phase. We were working on our product, what sort of product we need to launch. So we started with the litigation database as a product. So it's a SaaS product, software as a service. We used to provide subscription of all the litigation database of the country, which is India, and it's humongous. Again, it's humongous. And like I said, the country is huge, so the cases that has been disposed of are again so many. And then we were proud to say that we have the largest litigation database of the country from 1837 till yesterday. Every single data point we have it today. But yeah, at that point in time, starting to get to that database, obviously it's been a long journey. But yes, like I said, so legal database, legal research is something that we launched as a SaaS product. It took a good time because we were collating data, curating
Yeah.
data, and then on the top of it, if you're just providing the data without any, innovation to it, doesn't make sense. So you
No.
have to bring in some technology intervention. You have to innovate. And our innovation, I'll tell you, we started with a feature which was iDraft, right? And this iDraft as a feature, so it might be sounding a little technical to you, but just to, break it down, like what kind of a value proposition it brings is, suppose you are on the platform, using our product, it will help you reduce your legal research time by 33%, one third. So it's like, for time saving for the legal practitioner is money at the end of the day.
Yeah, which
If
is
you are
huge,
able,
right? It's huge because
yeah,
because this comes back to when I was originally talking at the start in terms
yeah,
of, there was this concern at one point, and I'm sure people will, disagree, but what I was hearing and reading that, a lot of the roles that were going to be kind of removed completely out of legal or, other industries, it's not the case. It's actually taken away the low value
yeah,
tasks, the menial work, so that
yeah,
the right people can be doing the right roles they're meant to be doing within the industry, right? I
yeah,
think that happens across all industries. But is that
yeah,
what you've taken away the
yes,
low value work, automated
yes,
it,
yes,
innovated it?
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. We are absolutely right. So when it comes to legal service, obviously you need a professional lawyer
Yeah,
representing the client in the court of law, right? No AI can replace a human putting forward the argument in front of a judge. You cannot right now think AI would do that ever, right? Because you need a lawyer to fight a case at the end of the day.
yeah,
But now we are focusing on those kinds of products which actually, provides more productivity to the lawyer. It helps saves his time. It
yeah,
makes him more efficient, and helps him reduce all those, those kind of jobs that used to kill time for him rather than making him more efficient. So that's
yeah,
where you're absolutely right. When it comes to legal service, it's a service business at the end of the day. Lawyer has to represent the client in the court of law, argue everything. AI cannot replace that. But yes, when it comes to the product the legal expert uses, there is a humongous opportunity lying there, right? And that's where we thought of reducing the legal practitioner's time, so that he can get more cases, he can earn more income, and he can represent many more cases, right? So his, in a way, saving time means more money at the end of the day. And that's where we focus on productivity tool to begin with. And likewise, again, this was just one innovation that we made with this one iDraft feature, because it was helping them reduce the legal research time. And today, I'm proud to say we have a complete AI, enabled legal assistant wherein you can even speak to them, to that assistant, even type in there and ask for any case law, and it will throw you in just seconds, right? Which a lawyer, even having a digitized library over his laptop used to take hours at times
Yeah.
to get to a document he's looking out for. And today a legal assistant, AI backed legal assistant, providing in just one click like a chat GPT is of humongous value, right?
Yeah.
And that is where we have come today,
I love it.
right?
And do you have a name for your legal assistant? So many people do they have a name?
Zion, yeah, the Zion that you were
Oh,
introducing.
Zion.
So
Sorry, Zion, the
that's
generative legal.
yeah. So that's our legal assistant helping to find all the litigation database. So earlier it was, we in 2018-19 it was just a Google for researchers, Google for legal practitioner. You need to type in, find it from thousands of documents. Today with this kind of a generative AI, it can throw so many results in just couple of seconds. And very simply, our this assistant is backed by our proprietary data, which even Gemini or Chat GPT, OpenAI can't have it at all. It's totally distinguished product if you see from, because every such product is backed by data. And here we have
Yeah, I love
the
it.
main powerhouse, which is the database, which is fueling everything. And just on that, because product innovation is sort of theme today, I'll tell you, when we started going out in the market, corporates, we started getting more corporates, and again, we used to get a lot of queries, a lot of problems that they face in the legal side. The law firms and corporate in-house counsels, they were facing a lot of problems when it was about managing cases, right? So like Amazon is one of our clients. So like Amazon, if the top legal head of Amazon, they need to manage, he or she needs to manage, the all the cases of Amazon under one roof. It was a humongous and difficult task. And that's where we launched our second product also, which is case management tool, a complete tool, a kind of a ERP system where you can add all your cases. The law firm can add all their cases of clients. They can even a Amazon legal head can add all the cases of Amazon and track on a real time basis. So we have through technology scrapping bots who are fetching the real time information from all the authentic websites, from government judiciary's website, and providing the real time information on the fantastic UI UX based product,
I love
right?
it. It's okay because for me, what you're talking about here is, and it's something that keeps coming up as well with a lot of different founders and CEOs I'm talking to, is that, and I'm a big believer in that, like we've had this disconnected ecosystem, if you like, and it's now putting it back together in terms of how do you interconnect the ecosystem and bring the human and the AI together and put it together in a way that's never been put together before, right? In terms of there was humans here. The machine learning's been around for a long time, and now it's called AI. And so it's like it's now being interconnected in a way that is revolutionizing and shaping the future of business and also leadership. Like, would you agree with that? Like, because even like what you're talking about in terms of the ecosystem you're putting together for
100%, 100%. I think you made a very relevant point, B, because everything is there. Even the database that I'm talking about, it's there in the universe. First of all, the basic thing is to collate everything together,
yeah.
right? To get everything together so that it adds value. When it is together, it adds more value,
Mm,
right? And when it comes to the case management tool that I was talking about, so there are many stakeholders, right? When there is a case, there is a in-house counsel, there is a lawyer who will be in the local representing in the local court, there is a client, there are many attorneys working on the same matter, there are many juniors working in the same matter, right? So it's a team of maybe 5 to 10 people working in a matter. You need to collaborate them together. You need to provide them a AI backed tool as well. So the AI assistant that I'm talking about. So how does it work on this platform? First, everyone is collaboratively working because we have made a system together. They are able to share their documents. They are able to do everything together on the same platform. Plus, if you have uploaded your own document, even our legal assistant goes into your document, fetches the data, and helps you draw inference from it, helps you fetch the clauses which are there in your contracts, maybe for that matter, and it's solving huge problem,
Yeah, I
right?
love
It is
it.
helping. It is helping to, this AI has actually changed how things are have been working since like last 2 3 years, and that is where we are also leveraging the updated technology so that it really benefits and curates the workflow for law firms and corporate. So that's where we are also moving. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's creating it's creating workflow as such, but it's also creating human flow, like that collective flow where it's effortless, like everyone's focused, they're clear on what they're doing. Like, do you know what I mean? Tell me, you mentioned earlier about culture. You talked about, you dropped something about culture and it stuck with me, and I was like, I've got to come back and ask you a question on this. And you were talking about culture in the last company, and then kind of informing what your own company with your co-founder. You briefly mentioned it. What does culture like from where you've been in other organizations? What sort of culture was like? What did you and your co-founder want to ensure in your business from the outset that ensured that you had a collaborative, a culture that was high performing, that was still had fun, but, was values driven, was purpose driven. Like, what was it in your culture that you wanted to instill, I should say, from the outset?
Yeah, yeah. I think again this is one most important aspect when you're building an organization, and I would highly suggest young founders to start thinking about culture from the very day one, I would say. Why? Because today we are dealing with Gen Zs, right? And they have a completely different way of working altogether. You can't think of micromanagement. That's number one. You need to provide them a healthy environment, collaborative environment where they are free to work. If you're thinking that you're going to be on their head and getting all the tasks being done, I think that's a wrong way. You have to provide them with the freedom, and that's how startups work. You just need to focus on the outcome rather than what they are doing. What they are bringing on the table at the end of the day should be mattered a lot. Otherwise, give them a free hand, let them initiate, let them brainstorm, think through, because they are also a part of innovation. We need to understand, you
100%. I
know,
love that you've called that out because they're the next gen, right? So,
yeah,
like, the fact that you're calling out this younger generation they're the next part
absolutely.
of innovation. I love that you've said that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Because at the end, it might be one, two, or three co-founders working together. There's always, a maximum cap that one or two people can think about. An organization, which is an innovative organization, need to think about innovation every single day. A founder like me, working for like last 7 8 years, my thought process might get over at some point in time. We need some more fresh, innovative thought process coming into the company, right? And that's where hiring the right guy makes more sense, giving them freedom, building a culture of collaboration. You know, maybe, I'll be very honest, we party together when there is a big milestone being achieved. Yeah.
I love it. It's about having fun too. We're not saving
Yeah.
lives, right? I think we need to bring the fun back. I do think that's important.
Yeah, we do a lot of Saturday snacks. We do a lot of outings, day outings, and all those things. But yeah, obviously it's like scheduled properly so that doesn't hamper the work culture also. But yeah, there has to be a balance. You can't just talk about growing, growing. Growing can happen only when there is an innovation. Everybody bringing in the innovation. So that kind of a culture, I was very sure to, because I've seen that because in my past organization, like I mentioned, so I've seen that it is very important to give them this free hand and get a very positive vibe across, because if you are totally negative from your heart and soul, I think you can't deliver anything. So that's
No.
where leaders need to think about very well, right?
Yeah.
So that's where
And
that's
what
all.
about the co-founder partnership? Because that's never easy. Like, it's not always easy. Like, when you've got a co-founder, right? Like, you might sometimes have your way, they might have their way. What's the secret around like, if we're thinking about culture here, what's the secret around a partnership lasting the distance when it comes to scaling and building a business? What do you see as like, what's the magic with
Uh,
you and your co-founder?
yeah, got that. So basically, I would say, see, in our case, I'll be obviously very specific to my case here. In our case, we I am another co-founder, we used to know each other very well
Yeah.
since childhood. So that was an added advantage because I would say then you know how the other person is in and out, right? That's one. So if you know someone very well and he or she becomes your co-founder, it is a value add because then rather than finding it on LinkedIn, maybe might have, or you may find a success there as well. But yes, having this kind of a known factor brings in a lot of trust, brings in a lot of confidence of working together, and in and out about other person, and you can behave in that fashion. Another most important point be at the end of the day, it's all about being in the professional world,
Yeah.
right? You need to know your lines. Like I would clearly define, like we are three co-founders right now. He's from the legal domain. One of my co-founder, Karan, he's from legal domain. So he knows legal product development and sales. I am from a management domain. I know product marketing, customer success, product innovation, and finance very well. So my domain is completely separate. So we know where to take decision for our own domains. And
Yeah.
third is our CTO, who's the technology guy. So I don't know technology. So he's the best guy to take a decision there. So there is no crossing of path, I
Yeah.
would say.
That's
That is
good.
also an added advantage because thought process might vary. At the end, you need to have a healthy debate. I think this way, you think that way, but what would be the beneficial for the organization matters the most, right? And then I'll probably be, I missed out talking about one more important. So I'm diverting a bit, but I think I should tell you last part of the innovation because I actually want to talk about the third product because until unless I talk about that, it will not suffice the product innovation part. So now, so like if you see the product, our product was what? It was our database, right? As a SaaS product, we used to provide login ID
Yeah.
subscription and we used to sell. Now the innovation was in 2023, we realized that, dude, we are sitting on the gold mine and we have collated almost like all the data of this country, litigation data. And then, if we think of fetching out the intelligence from that data, it can again change the whole landscape, the legal tech landscape, and it will solve one of the most humongous problem that the diligence part was, facing the legal due diligence. Because when it comes to legal due diligence, nobody knows, like, how many cases. So if somebody wants to know my litigation history, Himanshu Puri might have so many civil cases, criminal cases, pending, disposed of in High Court, Supreme Court. Nobody knows. People want to check that for many use cases. For lending, suppose I'm giving a loan of 5 crore Indian rupees or $5 million, I need to check my litigation history, right? Whether I have a criminal case or a civil
Yeah.
case
How?
pending, right? So,
Yeah,
so, so,
totally. How
so,
did
so
you?
what we,
Oh, sorry.
so, so,
Sorry to interrupt you, but I do want to
yeah,
ask. I want to pause for a second because otherwise I'll lose the
yeah.
question. But you
No, no, no,
mentioned that
please.
you realized in 2023, talking about innovation and product innovation, that you were sitting on a gold mine. That's six
Yeah.
years into the company. So, like, you've scaled, you're testing, you're learning, you're researching, and then you point out in 2023. What was it? Like what was it that made you guys realize, oh, we're sitting on a gold mine? Like, because I was going to ask you around when you're building and scaling a business, you have your days where you're like, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? You're like, like, there's, it's scaling is building is starting up a business is not for the faint-hearted. Like, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
say it only takes however many years to find your groove, and yet you were building, scaling, clearly
Yeah.
successful, but then you come 6 years in and you're like, oh, we've got this gold mine here. What was it? What was the light bulb moment for you guys?
So I'll tell you. See, so when it comes to scaling, see, legal tech was a very, very nascent space to be in. It was nowhere when we started actually, and today it has started getting into the groove. This whole space, if
Yeah,
I talk about the Indian economy, uh, so we were a little early on, and we realized that if we are building a litigation database product, right, it has a limited market. Then you need to innovate from
yeah,
that very same work that you have done, go to the next level. So we talked about case management tool. It was solving a problem. Earlier, we used to get, say, X amount, we used to get 2X amount because we were selling two products to the same client. That's how you need to think of scaling, getting a bigger ARPU, the average revenue per user from the same client, right? So that's how we went to the second product. And third, when we realized that we have this whole database of the economy, right? we saw a problem. People were giving loans just based out of one parameter, which is CIBIL. In India, there's a credit history people check. The banks, the financial institutions, or NBFCs, non-banking finance companies, they check your credit history, what you
Yeah.
have earlier used to pay regularly or not, and is there being any default while paying back the EMIs or all those things. But we realized that there need to be a double layer. So that's where we launched Libel. So while you were introducing, so Libel is our legal due diligence product. You need to check not just your credit history, check the legal history also.
Yeah.
What if the guy has a divorce case? He has a huge obligation to pay as alimony to the wife.
Yeah.
And if you're like giving a loan to a guy, he's just paying the alimony and he's gonna default, right? The simple use case, right? Think of a very simple problem in the market. And that's where we thought we need to have a litigation check as well, not just the credit check,
I love
right?
it.
And it was a revolutionary thing.
Yeah.
Nobody even thought. I mean, it's still a very new term. Very honestly, we're trying to foray. I mean, it's a recent product, so that's why 2024 we did a beta launch, and today we are standing in 25. So now we have we have seen a good traction on this product as well. Not many financial investigation agencies. They are our client. Banks are our client. Fintechs are our client
Very
because
exciting.
now they have realized just by paying a simple small money to check a particular entity subject, he can save huge amount which they are lending. Or when you hire an employee, there is a court record check, litigation check that happens. You are not hiring a guy who has a cases on him, right?
Yeah, it's
So
incredible.
when you're getting into a vendor onboarding, you're onboarding contracting with a guy, you should check.
Yeah, you should always
So
check. I've got a couple of last questions for you. Your
sure.
energy is next level. Like it's more you're more you've got more energy than me. Like and I've got a lot of energy, but I just like your enthusiasm and your charisma and your energy for your business and your product and this relentlessness around innovation and continuing to revolutionize and like where from within you like do you get this energy from? How do you find your energy?
Oh my God, that's the most difficult question now. I really don't know. I mean, I'll tell you, like, okay, let me put it this way. See, honestly, when you're excited about your own work, it comes natural. I think you got my point, right? When you know that you're something right, when you know you're trying to do something for the economy, obviously for us as well, founders need to think of commercial aspect for
Yeah,
themselves. I'm not saying that
100%. Yeah.
obviously, but the only thing is when you're happy doing your own work, the energy comes from inside naturally, right? I've been enjoying the journey so far, though I have not talked about the rigorous part of it, the downs of it. There are so many things like happened. So difficult journey it has been as well. But today maybe we can skip that part.
Stop it.
We
No,
can talk
but can
about.
I ask you on that? Because it's important. It's important on those days, the down days and the crappy days and the days where you just like these, you just like, you just can't see the wood for the trees. It's really important what you just talked about then, isn't it? The ability to tap into your grit, to tap into your cup, within you, because you really need to be able to access that energy and ensure, and that's why I think it's so important to ensure you keep your cup full and you don't give out too much of your cup. Because on those days, you have to draw on those energy reserves. You have to draw on those reserves. Like, is that what you do? Like, how do you not just bounce back, but how do you bounce forward on the days when it's like you're just like, I don't know if this is going to stick, work, whatever. Like, how do you do it? Like, you have to draw into something then.
So I'll tell you, like, obviously, it's never the straight line, like we always say.
Non-linear.
So entrepreneurship or running a business for so long years, you can't imagine that how many downs we may have seen till date, right? And maybe more the downs than the highs, very honestly, because that's how the struggle happens in the very early years, right? Though it may seem like, it's a seventh or eighth year, we might be, but yesterday was also a big challenge. Today also there's one challenge waiting, right? So it's like that till building a business in India. If you do a research also, you'll get to a kind of a figure. It at least takes 10 to 12 years minimum to make a business in India. And
Wow.
if you are able to succeed to that extent, then you are there. But right now we are just 7 years, right? And then the struggle is still pending. Though we may have multiple products, multiple TGs, but again, every day is a challenging day. So now answering your question, it's damn difficult. You have your lows for sure, and you can't avoid that. You can't hide that. You are facing that low. Your business is down. You're facing a financial crunch. We have faced a lot of cash flows issues, like every other business, right? Then it's just that you see that probably the market that you're working in, the problem that you're solving out will have a huge impact. You just keep this thing in mind.
The
Okay,
purpose.
let me stand another one more day, maybe. Let me just try another one more
That's the
day.
grit.
And then
That's the
you and
yeah,
then
that's
and then after like couple of sad days, maybe one milestone that you see, okay, probably I got a we got a client. Okay, finally we got a client who will gonna pay, X amount to us. Chalo, we are still at a decent space. And then you try to revive that kind of a journey again, the kind of enthusiasm again. So that's how it goes. You're going down, down, down. Something happens, okay, you pull it up
I know
yourself, and then
it can
okay.
be exhausting though, can't it? Himanshu, I'm gonna have to wrap this for you because you've got a full half a day ahead of you, and you said you've got another challenge that you're about to face. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you and your energy. What would be one piece of advice you would give anybody who was starting a business and wanting to pursue they were pursuing something that had tech incorporated into it. Like, you've talked about ed tech, you're in legal tech. Like, the future is in front of us. It's right here, right now, the revolution. What would you give one piece? What would be one piece of advice you'd give to anybody who's thinking about pursuing a business and having it tech based from an AI, etc. perspective? What
Yeah.
would it be?
Um, Nice question, because I think that's going to help a lot of young folks who are thinking to get into this space, any sector, but taking an entrepreneurial plunge maybe soon. See, very honestly, they need to do a hell of a research first.
Yeah,
They shouldn't be impatient about just jumping onto it, leaving their job or dropping off their, courses, something like that. They need not to get into that space at the very first go. They need to get into the domain, get into the sector they are trying to get into, learn more from the customer. Is the problem that they're trying to figure out is really a problem? People start solving a problem which is not a problem in the very first go. That's how it happens.
yeah,
Many
so
startups
true.
fail just because they're just doing something because it is coming to my mind. Are your mind at the end not gonna solve the problem which is being faced in the market? You have to go in the market, talk to the first 100 customers, understand what really the problem is. If the problem exists, is this existing with thousands and lakhs of people, or it is just 100 people? You need to validate that.
Yeah, I love it.
It's very important.
So true.
We start jumping onto entrepreneurship. Oh, technology is going. I have AI. AI will not help you until unless you are, strong on your fundamentals. Go on to your
Love
fundamentals
it.
first. Technology comes second, to be very honest. Though we are talking about technology,
Agree.
yes, it's a leverage. It's a big leverage, but go to the fundamentals, talk to your customer, talk to the stakeholders, understand the problem, then propose the right solution. Even solution exists in the market. How your solution gonna be different will be the path breaking thing. You need to think how innovatively. So product innovation that we've been talking about. It comes. This is the first step. This is the first advice. Then comes a lot of if you can want to raise funds, test out in the
I love
market,
it.
sell
Start with the
your product.
research.
Long way to
Learn,
go. Long way to
yeah,
go.
it's
You
a
know.
big part of my methodology as well. That learn what is it? What, be aware of what problem you're trying to solve. How do we find out more about you? How do we find out more about the business?
So about LegitQuest, you said?
Yeah, how do we find out more? I've got your website. I just want you to tell.
Yeah. So maybe yeah, you can definitely sort of drop in to us as an email info at legitquest.com. And legitquest.com is our official website. There's all the data points are about our products, about our team, everything, our journey is there. Plus, if anyone wants to reach out to me, I can surely help you with my email ID if they have any queries. For sure, I'll love to help out in that regard by answering them. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Himanshu. It's been a wonderful conversation with you. Like I said, your energy is second to none, and then I'm wishing you utmost success with the continuation of Legit Quest and what you're conquering and revolutionizing in India and the globe. So, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure, B. Thank you so much for calling me here and sharing the thoughts. Thank you so much.
Have a good afternoon. Thank you.